So we're going to do top 10 tips today. So we're going to talk about powering your laptop, tea break time, food waste, organize, lunchtime, furniture, paper, lighting, digital, and plants. So that's quite a bit of a sprint. So we'll see what we get through today. So we're going to start off with a little bit of a quiz. So I'm going to give you a little while to get this set up. Oh, look, bingo, bingo, you're all in. So if everyone can go to menti.com and you put in the code 857185, and what it'll do is it will, if you just go onto your phone, it will ask you for a name, or you can just pick an icon or a picture or whatever. And then look, yeah, there's a few people coming in. Don't worry, I know it's a problem if you're already on your phone watching this. It's not always the easiest thing to do, but let me see. We've got, yeah, it's still waiting for players. So we've got a few, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think we should have about 20 of you. So maybe more. Well, actually, oh, it's 30. Okay, so we'll see who we can get in. So, okay, anyone struggling to get on? Oh yeah, we're getting there. I'm loving the icons. I didn't know half of these icons existed, so this is great to see what they come up with. So in a minute, you'll see a question and you will have a few seconds to answer that question. And then what will happen is the answer will pop up on screen. So those of you from Iconic who are joining us will know this because some of you may have attended the talk that we did in January. So, and anyone else actually who has already seen this. So let's see, I think we're probably there or thereabouts. We've got most people in. So, okay, we are gonna start. Okay, so let's go. What energy will have the most climate impact? So look at your phone. Is it solar panels, solar panel farms, onshore wind farms, or investing in nuclear power? These are all things that were done by, it was a study done by Project Drawdown, and it was, oh, 2 minutes ago, 1 second. Okay, who, let's see. Da, da, da. Okay, onshore wind farms. Oh, yay. We have an audience who's done some homework. Woohoo! That's brilliant, guys. Okay, so yes, onshore wind farms are going to have the most impact. This was a study done by Project Drawdown, and they proved that if this is what we did across the world, this would make the most impact in terms of climate. So moving on, and how this is relevant, we will have a look at who is the leaderboard. Okay. Okay, well done. Okay, so it's neck and neck right now. Okay, so let's see if we can crack on to the next slide. So the reason I wanted you to do that, okay, is to talk about powering your laptop with green energy. So not sure many of you know this, but Ireland's current energy provision is actually 80% from fossil fuels. Although we hear all these fabulous stories about renewable energy, it's still not as good as it could be. And by 2030, office equipment is set to consume 30% of the total energy used in offices. So what you can do, and certainly at home this is an easy win, I think, is switch to a renewable energy supplier. So switcher.ie is a brilliant site. This is no paid advert or anything, but you just go on, put in your details, and they will tell you what is the best thing that you can, the best one for you to move to. And I think I actually move renewable energy suppliers once a year as well, because it actually saves me money. It normally saves me a couple of hundred a year, because they're actually subsidized by the government to get people to switch, which is just crazy. So easy win to do today, maybe. And then turn down the heating by 1 degree. There's an estimate out there that says you will save up to €400 if you turn your heating down by 1 degree. So this will actually make quite a big difference, I think, to both your heating bills and also to the environment and CO2. So remember to think about that when you are powering your laptop, and also to make sure that if you have stuff at home that you have switched on overnight, like printers and monitors and stuff like that, it's a really good idea to turn them off fully at night. So now we've got another little quiz for everybody. So this question is, if you only boil the water needed for your cuppa, we would save enough energy to power the streetlights for 7 months, 1 year, or 3 weeks. So which do you think it is? If you've been watching my sustainability sprint this week, you should know the answer to this. So let's see what people think. Okay, yay, okay. You have been watching. Brilliant. That's great news. Everybody knows. Okay, so yeah, it's amazing. That is something where you definitely know that the small things really do add up and make a difference, right? So if you, I don't have my kettle with me today, but if you just fill it up to the little line, then you'll know that you only need that amount of water, or you use your cup to pour the water into the kettle, and then that will purely just boil the water that you need, and it will save you a lot of money. I think there's another study done, found that you could save up to £5 a month on your energy bills if you just boiled the water that you needed for your cuppa. So well done, guys. Pretty impressed there, I have to say. So moving on, let's see how everybody did. Let's see. So Declan did well there, adding the points up. Oh, Michelle, you're doing very well. Fabulous. Okay, congratulations. Okay, you're in the lead at the moment. Okay, so moving on, sustainability. So some of you have been following this this week, what we have been doing, our sustainability sprint. So did you know that most tea bags contain plastic, and most of them are bleached? So this is really bad for you, I think, as well as the environment. So if you can switch to those tea bags that are bleach free and plastic free, so you're looking at Clipper, Lions, PG Tips have their pyramid tea bags are plastic free. So there's a few brands out there, but maybe just even look at your regular brand and see, is it plastic free? Or better still, obviously, you go with loose leaf tea, because also the tea that has been used to put into the tea bags, they've done a sort of a curling, they call it a curling CTC, I think it is, and they curl the tea especially before they put it into the tea bags, which is mad. So it's another mechanical process that's just not needed, whereas if it's loose leaf, they don't need to do that. And then secondly, something that we posted today is around 70%, 2/3 of your carbon footprint of your tea and coffee comes from your milk. So a study done by Mike Berners-Lee of, let me just grab this, I don't know if you can still see my video, but this book, There's No Planet B, he did a study that said if you were to have, let's just say, 4 black coffees or 4 black teas a day, your footprint of your tea and coffee routine for the whole year would be the equivalent of driving a car for about 40 miles. Sounds, yeah, pretty bad. But if you have lattes, 3 large lattes a day, then that actually means that you could power a flight halfway across Europe with the carbon from that. So milk is a really, it's something that produces a lot of carbon through its production. And obviously the cows, we know about the methane, all that kind of stuff. So my suggestions are, use refillable pods in your Nespresso machine if you have one, or better still, just use the plunger. Source your coffee and tea and coffee from sustainable brands like Moi Coffee, which is a B Corp, and Fix. Cut down on your intake, which is much better for your health and the environment. We all know we should be drinking less caffeine, and then pick tea bags, like I said, which are plastic and bleach free. Oh, and Wall & Keogh are another really good brand, yeah, in Ireland. Just point that out. You can buy loose leaf from them. Oh, they do some amazing, amazing teas. So, got another question for you. Okay, which of these actions do you think has the biggest impact on climate change? So, is it wasting less food, becoming a vegetarian or a vegan, or composting your food waste? So, which do we think it is? Let's see, everybody is voting. Brilliant. Wasting less food. Oh, you have been studying. Excellent. Well done. Okay, that is brilliant. Yes, wasting less food really is one of the most important things. And Project Drawdown, even in their latest stuff that they have released, has said that this is one of the most important things we can do. And certainly in the Western world, it's definitely within our control. So let's see how the leaderboard is looking. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, difficult to tell. Okay. Ooh, Vivian, you were the fastest. So you're out in front. Okay, cool. Okay, well done, everybody. Super impressed with that. So, food waste. I covered this a little bit in some of my other presentations, but yeah, Ireland throws away more than 1 million tons of food a year, which is horrific. This is enough to fill Croke Park twice over, which is just massive. It really is. So if you can cut down your food waste, they reckon that study by the Irish Times actually said that you could save up to £1,000 a year if you could cut down on just throwing, you're throwing your bit of limp lettuce at the back of the fridge. And especially, I'm sure, like when the lockdown came in, everyone was like, oh my God, I've got to go buy food. Everyone rushed out. And then all of a sudden you've got all this stuff that you haven't used up. So Stop Food Waste is a brilliant site that you can check out that has great tips on freezing stuff, reusing stuff, that you can look out for more top tips. So also there's a really good, if you look at the BBC Good Food, if you just type in the ingredients, say it's, I don't know, beetroot or egg whites because you made something with egg yolks or whatever it might be, they will pop up recipes for you to be able to use just having that ingredient in. So it's a great way of looking at it. And then also get a brown bin or start a compost heap. So if you're lucky enough to live in a house and you have a garden, then starting a compost heap is a brilliant way of not only saving you money from your bins, not having to put them out, but helping the environment and creating free compost. Like, what's not to like? And then if you live in an apartment, you can get these little bokashi bins which sit on your counter, and you just put the stuff in the top, and then it has like this special bran with these little microbes in it, and that just works on the compost, and then you have this beautiful stuff at the end you can give to friends or you can use in your potted plants. So moving on, we're going to talk about organization. So as you can probably see, this looks beautifully organized, especially for today. But yeah, it's very important, obviously, to have an organized space. But there is no need to panic buy with IKEA or Amazon or all this kind of stuff. These are actually things that I have used. Like, this is something that I have had since I was in Amsterdam, which is a very long time ago. And they have traveled with me and traveled very well, actually. Also, as you can see in the picture, I really love this idea of using old wine boxes as like little bookshelves or places to put your plants, all those kind of things. So just, I'm sure we're all repurposing and rethinking, because with the delays on ordering stuff and things at the moment, it's really hard to get stuff. So it's just about boxing clever, quite literally, and thinking about what you can do. And maybe you don't have to sit in the hot press like Dr. Kira Kelly did when she got COVID-19 at the beginning of this, but just think about what you can do yourself to upcycle and be creative. So just have one more person joining us there. Okay, on to lunchtime, and particularly because it's Earth Day today, we want to think about maybe having a flexitarian or a vegetarian lunch or a vegan lunch if we can possibly make it, because 25% of the average person's diet is the 25% of the average person's CO2 comes from their diet. So it's something that we can all have an impact on, and you don't have to do it every day. Like, I know it's hard for lots of people, especially with families. Especially my youngest child, she absolutely loves meat, and it's very hard to stop her wanting to have it. But we do certainly have meat in our own house, probably 4 times. Well, we have no meat 4 times a week. And maybe what we do is, and the best thing you can do is, even if you look at like spaghetti bolognese, you start with your mince and then you add half mince, half red lentils, you're already cutting down your kind of meat intake, and it's going to be better for you. Lentils are amazing. So you don't just start slowly, don't go crazy. If you're not that sort of person, it's very difficult for everyone to kind of, I suppose, take that mantle, if you like, and run with it, but see what you can do. So we suggest certainly when you get back to the office is to, you know, think about having meat-free Mondays. Think about doing it when you're having your own lunch at home, or if you're sharing with work, etc. Think about maybe everyone has having a bake-off challenge, but maybe think about, can you have a MasterChef vegan or vegetarian challenge? Just tweak it a little bit. Or if you're ordering lunchtime sandwiches, I bet you 9 times out of 10 people will not notice if there isn't meat in there at all. And also another study that was done by the Irish Times found that if you swap your meat for lentils and pulses, like I just said, so it's in a chili or bolognese or those kind of things, you're going to save, I think they estimated up to €400 a year. So that's quite a lot of money to save just by switching into more vegetarian stuff. So moving on, we're going to look at seating. So this kind of comes under the kind of furniture umbrella and goes back to what we were just saying. But buying new tables and chairs can have a huge impact on the environment. And there are still people out there at the moment. There is still stuff on FreeCycle. There is stuff on adverts.ie, especially where people are sharing stuff locally. There's loads of stuff that you can get. And the other thing is that if you are buying new stuff, most new furniture, from the foam, from the fabric, has what we call VOCs, which are volatile organic compounds. Which sounds, yeah, kind of nice in the organic way, but it isn't. So it includes things like formaldehyde, which, as we know, is used for preserving things. And it's often found in those, like the little cushions that you get on the top of the chairs and things. So maybe for your own health as well, have a think about whether you can buy secondhand, because what happens is if you buy secondhand, a lot of those gases has done what we call off-gassing. So the gas has already released. So this old thing from IKEA here has certainly done its off-gassing. It's that old. So it's something to think about. If you see, and you can see beautiful things that can be upcycled. So maybe think about, if you're going to upcycle something, think about the type of paint you're going to use. So there is an Irish company called Little Green, and they use very little VOCs in their paint. So if you're going out and looking at painting, because there are a couple of you know, handy places at the moment, what do you call them, like my lost words today, but yeah, I mean, obviously the likes of Woody's, etc., are closed, but some of the smaller places, like the hardware shops, are still open. So if you are going to do any upcycling, think about using paint that is VOC free. So let's see, paper. So hopefully now we're at home, not too many people need to do a lot of printing because they're not handing out stuff to other people. But I know some people, when you're reading big documents and stuff like that, you do have to think about it. But did you know it takes 10 liters of water to produce 1 sheet of A4 paper? So this is huge. Like, water is a very scarce resource, and we really need to think about that. So yeah, and compared to virgin paper, each ton of recycled paper can save 17 trees, 380 gallons of oil, and 3 cubics of landfill space. And the rest is history. So it's a big thing. And the paper industry is the 5th largest consumer of energy worldwide. So what you can do here in Dublin is think about turning off your photocopier and your printer from standby. Just turn them off. And if you turned both of those off every night, you would save enough energy to power both your television and your refrigerator at the same time. So this is, like, again, this is a win-win if you figure out how to do these things. And you need to switch off monitors and all that kind of stuff, power them down, then you will save enough energy to start powering the stuff that you really need in your house, like the fridge. So, and obviously if you have to print, it goes without saying, print on both sides, and check out clee.ie, or I think it might also be Ecoland. Both those places have fantastic range of eco stuff for offices and for homes. So, and they, you know, you can You don't have to be in office to order from them in terms of your paper or whatever. So whatever you're needing right now, maybe have a think about them. And I think they're doing like a click and collect or whatever, as well as obviously sending out deliveries. So we have another little quiz for everybody. So if you're new and you've just joined us, if you go to Menti and put in 857185, then you will see the questions. Which of these actions will have the most impact on climate change? Is it design more walkable cities, switch to LED light bulbs, or use smart thermostats? So time's up. Ooh, 50-50. Okay. Yes, the answer is switch to LED light bulbs. And I think after that actually comes design more walkable cities and then smart thermostats in terms of that order. So yeah, LED light bulbs, it's a no-brainer. If you haven't done it already, go around the house, make that switch, or just make the switch as your old light bulbs die down. Okay, so let's see. Who was the fastest on the trigger? Oh, it was pretty close there, guys. I'm impressed with you all. Wow, okay, so Vivian is out in front. Fantastic. Okay, let's see where we are at. Okay, so leading nicely from LEDs into lighting. Smooth transition, or what? Okay, so lighting accounts for 15% of a typical household's electricity bill. Sorry, just need to let in some more people. Okay, so there we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so lighting is not cheap and it does use up an awful lot of energy. So each light left on overnight for a year costs around €20 if it's not an LED. So think about switching if you haven't already. They last for absolutely ages. I think most new lights these days are certainly sold with LEDs. There is a fantastic company called Urban Volt who are offering lighting as a service to businesses. So they will go into a business and they will take on board the cost of implementing the whole LED lighting, especially if it's a factory or whatever. So worth thinking about if that's something that you have a big space as a business. So what you can do about this is, well, a bit like me, I am looking out the window at a beautiful cherry blossom tree, which you can't see. And it's really important to be by the window for that natural light. I think most of new offices these days are being built with special windows where everyone can get more natural light because it's so much better for your health. It helps with your circadian rhythm and all that kind of thing, as opposed to using those overhead lights. And obviously switch to LEDs to save money and to save energy, and therefore to save CO2. Okay, so moving on. Digital detox. Okay, so energy from devices such as computers left on standby, that's the little red light that you see when you leave it on standby, account for 5 to 10% of the total electricity used in residential homes and accounts for 1% of the world's carbon emissions. Sorry, I just find that mind-blowing. So if you can think about getting one of those, seen them like the circuit breakers that you plug in all of your devices and then you just flick off one switch at night and then it just cuts off the whole thing. So we have that for like our telly, our computer, anything like that's plugged in, like the kettle, because when things are plugged in and switched on, there's something called vampire electricity, which sucks out the electricity from the grid and into the plug, even if it's not actually being used. So it's worth noting. And I think they say vampire energy uses up quite a lot, even if it's not actually on. And the global footprint of spam is huge. So I think quite a few people on this webinar have probably heard me say this before, but the global footprint of spam is worth about 331 million cars on the road. So I'm sure in the last 2 months you have signed up to a rake of things, be it Twinkle for your children's education, to, I don't know, mindfulness or whatever. If you're starting to see stuff that you just don't need in your life, delete and unsubscribe. The best thing you can do in your life right now is to unsubscribe from all those emails that you really do not need. Do you need to know about H&M's latest offers? I don't think so. So yeah, just think about those kind of things and just get it down to, like, 10 or 20, because I'm sure if you did that one thing for me today, would be to go and look at your spam email inbox and see about the stuff that you just need to unsubscribe from. So you may have heard of Ecosia as a search engine. Ecosia works like Google, but the money that Ecosia gets from when you click on an ad, they use to plant trees. And this is brilliant. Like, it's an absolute no-brainer. And if you struggle with Ecosia bringing you, let's just say, the search results that you want. So sometimes, Google is optimized to the hilt. And so it will bring you like right down to like, something that's in your locality, because it works on where you are. It's very clever, but also very scary at the same time. Ecosia, if you just put in the hashtag G for Google, W for Wikipedia, or YT for YouTube, that will bring you directly to those particular search results. Because sometimes Ecosia, I find, does what I would call more of a natural search. It doesn't always bring up the stuff that is primed for SEO optimization. So can be a good thing and a bad thing. So do your research on Ecosia. Then what it does is, in the little bar at the top of your search bar, because you can actually sit it into Google Chrome. Oh, the irony. You can, then it'll tell you like how many trees you're planting for every search that you do. So it's just fantastic, and it's a no-brainer. And then also, if you turn down the brightness on your monitor, especially, I suppose we're all working from home, and I think I'm working harder from home than I am if I go into my office. But if you just turn down the brightness a little bit, you can save up to 20% of the energy that your monitor uses. And then also, if you switch your phone into low battery mode. So I think most phones have this. You just switch it into low battery mode, and it will just mute all the other apps. It'll mean you don't have to charge your phone as often. It'll mean it'll go for much longer. It's just brilliant, and a total no-brainer to do it. I think in iPhones, you just go into the settings and then go into battery, and that's how you do it. I have an iPhone, and I'm an iPhone person, but if you're not, I think certainly the Galaxy does the same kind of thing. It has a mute on it as well. So I think we have maybe one more little question. This might be the last one. So I have a drum roll. What ecological actions would reduce the most carbon? Is it protect and restore rainforests, plant more bamboo, or return land to indigenous people? So this is quite a tricky one, I think. It does trip some people up in terms of what they think. Okay. Oh, you're all too good. Brilliant. Okay, so yes, protect and restore rainforests is so important right now. It is just huge. It is one of the things that we need to do the most, because deforestation for your tea and coffee, I'm very sorry, and for obviously logging, for paper, for like just the list goes on, palm oil, the whole thing. So drum roll, please. Let's see who is the winner. Dun, dun, dun. Putting it all together. So, yay! Vivian, well done. You are the winner of today's quiz. You know your stuff. So fantastic. Well done to Vivian. That is brilliant. Okay, so on to our final slide, which is all about plants, and hence my question about deforestation. So let me just check that I haven't got anybody else to let in, and yeah, no, we're all good. Okay, so plants. This is the thing I'm a little bit passionate about, because I have a background in horticulture. I studied with the Royal Horticultural Society in England, and yeah, as you can see, I hope you can see from my bookshelf, I am slightly passionate about plants. So we really need to do more about this, because plants are really the infrastructure that our lives depend on. So 1 million species are currently threatened with extinction, and we really need to do more to mind them. So I hope everybody who maybe has a balcony, who has a garden, has been doing a little bit more of that in the last 4 weeks. I know I have, although I still don't have enough time to be out in my garden as much as I'd like to. Houseplants, okay, are so important, and are something that you can do in your office. You can do it at home. It's a really easy thing. So I'm going to show you, this is my peace lily. So I hope you can see this. It's not currently flowering. There we go. There she is. And this is, the peace lily is just brilliant, because the peace lily was shown, a study by NASA actually, long time ago now. To be fair, they did it in a sealed room, but they showed that particularly the peace lily is really good for oxygenating your space. And actually, even the plant there in my little picture is really good. And what else do I have? I have a Ficus benjamina at the top, and I have some cactus and another lily. So yeah, it's really important to put a plant in your office space, because it will help to lift your mood. It supplies oxygen, and it helps to clean the air of those toxic chemicals from all your furniture and your carpets and all this kind of stuff that's doing its off-gassing. So, I mean, nature is just brilliant. I mean, it just sucks up all of the nasties and provides you with oxygen. So what's not to like about that? So even if you only have a balcony or a windowsill, you can grow herbs, you can grow lavender. There are some great bomb-proof things. Lavender, like, absolutely loves being mistreated. Like, it doesn't need watering. It's a Mediterranean plant, and yet it provides beautiful smell and flowers, and is fantastic for the bees, who really love purple. That bees really love that and are attracted to that particular color. So if you can, or if you think about maybe even when you get back to the office, can you create a garden or a bug hotel? And I would suggest checking out pollinators.ie, which is a brilliant Irish website for everything to do with pollinators, stuff that you can plant right now. I currently have some seeds growing that are cosmos. I have zinnias. I have some really bright, beautiful plants growing. They're currently only this size, but hopefully soon they will be beautiful and in the garden and growing. So we are now coming to the end of the presentation. So I'm going to come out of the screen share in just a second and come into the chat. So if anybody has any questions, I'm aware that I have probably rabbited through that all at a pretty fast pace, but just aware that everyone seems to be super busy, even though they're working from home. It's a busy and pressured time, and aware that people have to mind their children and everything else. So I hope you got some great tips there. So if anybody has any particular questions, if they want to put them in the chat,